All a girl wants in life is long hair, and my name is Charnel, and I've had the struggle of my life trying to grow my fine type 4C low density natural hair. I've tried all the protective styles, the braids with extensions, cornrows, mini twists, and I find that every time that I had these styles in, they never sat in long enough before I could see any results. Why? Well, because extension hair my scalp absolutely hates. Mini twists, girl, with type 4C hair, those mini twists are gonna come out in a week. And with cornrows, my hair, for some reason, my scalp loves to be loose and free. So none of those worked for me for those very reasons. But what did work for me, and I have become an advocate for, mini braids. So if you're interested in learning how to use mini braids for your long hair era, then I'm here to drop all of the secrets. This is the only video you'll ever have to watch on mini braids. Although, let's just face it, Simply Chev is like the queen of mini braids. In fact, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing mini braids now. This is a style that actually helped me to see for the first time that my hair was growing. So I have a mini braids playlist, so be sure to check that out whenever you want. But let's jump in this video. I'm gonna share with you all the details on how you can make mini braids work for your hair growth and length retention efforts. Let's get started. Some things to consider when doing mini braids is how long it's going to take you. Depending on your density and your length, your mini braids can take you up to a week to complete. It depends on how small you make the mini twists or mini braids is going to also determine how long it's going to take you. On average for me, it takes me about 5 hours to install them and 10 hours to take them down. Now obviously as the hair gets longer, just expect to spend more and more time. But the payoff is you can leave them in for a longer period of time as well. So this is not a style you're installing for 5 hours and then have to turn around and take them out after a month. No, you can keep your mini braids in for a very long time. You can choose to do mini braids with extension hair, but I'm going to recommend for the most optimum results and length retention, just forego using braiding hair. Just don't do it. You don't need to do it. You don't. Trust me, you don't. And then think about the styles you'd want to rock. So if you make your mini braids too big, you won't be able to have as much versatility in your styling. For me, I make mine just about medium to small because I have fine, low density natural hair. It would take nothing for my mini braid to become a micro braid, and that's what we're not asking for, because if I installed micro braids, hello to sister locks, okay? So you wanna be mindful of how small or how large you make them. The smaller you make them, obviously you're gonna have more styling options because it's going to be as if your hair was loose. But say hello to torture and suffering on the day that it's time to take those out. Again, if you make them too large, then there may not be that many styling options. But if that's the way you want to go, then just turn your mini braids into plaits. The way you prepare for mini braids is going to definitely determine how well or how long your braids are going to last. It also depends how long you're going to keep your mini braids in. So if you know you're going to keep them in for a long period of time, make sure you wash and deep condition your hair. And I would recommend deep conditioning it twice. Do a protein deep conditioner and a moisturizer ultra hydration mask on your hair as a deep conditioner too. So wash your hair and clean it good. Make sure if you have to get a clarifying shampoo, do a clarifying shampoo, but you want to deep clean your scalp and deep clean your hair because this is going to be the last time it feels water for a long period of time. Again, deep conditioner, and then move on to your stylers, which is obviously a leave-in conditioner, an oil of choice. And you have two options. You can either stretch your mini braids with a blow dryer, or you can stretch it using braids or other non-heat methods. So African threading, banding, and plaits. For me, well, historically, I used to like blow drying my hair, and I find that that gives me the most length, and that also gives me the most longevity, especially if you plan to re-moisturize your hair in your mini braids and so on. Having your hair stretched from a blow dryer is going to give you the long term of the style. But if you want, stretching your hair with plaits is just fine. As long as your hair is stretched, do not install those mini braids on shrunken hair. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. To do the mini braids, section your hair however which way is comfortable to you. I've done mini braids two ways. I've done it by using a sectioning comb and just following my parting and braiding it from there, and using my thumb as a guide for how much hair to take, so that all of my braids end up having the same amount or close to the same amount of hair, and they all look very uniform. So just do based off of how you measure. So if you just say, okay, from this part of, like, this is what I usually do, I just grab this much of my hair and then I pull it out and just braid it. So that's what I do for each of my braids. I've done it that way with the comb, but I've also done it where I just take the hair out. I just pull it out, braid. And especially if you have low density hair, this is a great hack for making your hair look a lot thicker. If that's what you're going for, I'm never trying to thicken my hair. I love my fine natural hair, and I'm not trying to thicken it. But you can definitely do that if you want to make your hair look fuller. You can use just the method where you're just pulling out hair, braid, 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 instead of making them like neat brick layer parting. Of course, you want to braid each section as far down as possible, but a little tip from Esther, one of our coily companions here, she gave a good idea of just braiding it and leaving about 4 inches of ends and just twist it. I highly recommend this method because when it comes to take down those mini braids, you're going to thank yourself that there is no interlocking and twining of strands that you have to undo after wearing them for 3 months. So I highly recommend just leaving 4 inches of your hair, as she said, so that when it comes to take them down, it's just a matter of separating the hair strands together instead of trying to undo the interlocking of braiding. Now, how you maintain your mini braids throughout the wear all depends on your regimen. One thing I do not recommend is that you wash your hair in mini braids. Now, there are other ladies on here on YouTube who do, and they have their method, but I'm just saying from my personal experience, anytime I washed my hair in mini braids, it was a huge mess. It was a mega mess, okay? So I don't recommend, because especially if you have a tight curl pattern like me, like 4C, if you wet your hair while it's in braids, especially once it gets older, you're gonna have a lot of interlocking at your scalp, and the braids themselves are gonna shrink even smaller. So if you have fine natural hair and low density natural hair, your mini braid becomes a micro braid, and that's how it's gonna feel when you're taking them down. I don't recommend it. If you feel like you need to give your scalp a little bit of TLC, I have a video that talks about some of the tips that's worked for me without shampooing my hair, and has allowed my scalp to chill out so that I can wear my mini braids for 3 months. Another thing I do not recommend is leaving your mini braids in longer than 3 months. I was able to stretch it to 4 months on the last time I did, and that was a bad idea. So I don't recommend keeping them in longer than 3 months. I think 3 months is the perfect stopgap for everyone, because I also don't think you want to neglect your scalp that long either. It also helps you get ahead of breakage and dryness. So for me, 3 months was that sweet spot where I didn't experience as much breakage, or I didn't experience as much damage to my hair. So whereas if you go all the way to 4 months and you're trying to stretch it to 5 and 6, you're gonna have a huge problem on your hands when it's time to take down those mini braids. By doing every 3 months, you're washing your hair 4 times a year. That's very minimal, not even minimal. That is the lowest level of manipulation you can do to your hair and still maintain your inches as you retain them. And of course, you don't have to take my advice at all. I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, but from experience and from watching other ladies on YouTube who do mini braids every 3 months, I find that this is a sweet spot for a lot of us. So, oh, this fly is always in my video, I can't. Now, how I maintain my mini braids throughout the week is I apply shea butter every day or every other day. Well, for the first week, I do every day because the shea butter needs to get coated on my hair on a daily basis, so that my hair then starts to begin feeling really soft. It starts to curl, have its form and things like that. But then after that first week, I put shea butter on my hair every other day, because sometimes I don't even need to do it. Shea butter is, that's it. That's all it is to me. There was a regimen that I was on when I had my mini braids where I re-moisturized my hair every 3 days. So I sprayed it with aloe vera spray, and then I applied a curl cream, and then I applied an oil or a butter. And this kept my hair moisturized for a week. And so then I would do it again on the next 3rd day interval. So after So after 3 days, I would re-moisturize it, and then another 3 days, I would moisturize it. On this schedule, my hair basically stayed moisturized, but the only problem is product buildup, and that's why I've scaled back on applying curl creams, especially heavy curl creams. Avoid it. Now, if you want to spray your hair with aloe vera every day, or rose water, or whatever hyper water, like water on steroids, do that. Don't just use water. If you want to add a little bit of your conditioner and make it like a leave-in, you can. But spray that. Oh, another one is G, the Pro Vitamin leave-in. That's also been recommended as well. So I would use that as well too. Stay away from heavy curl creams. Don't recommend it. Product buildup, and that's a nightmare when it's time to take down your hair. Then when it comes to the takedown, I'm just going to direct your attention to my 10-hour live takedown that I did last year. And that's exactly how I take my hair down. I just find a nice little pin or something very small and just go through my braids very, very, very slowly. And lastly, I want to warn you that when you wear mini braids for 3 months or 4 and you take them down, do not be alarmed by the extreme amount of shedding, breakage, and dryness. Because if you think about it, 3 months without combing through your hair, whether you finger detangle or use a tool, that is a long time, and that is a lot of strands that had a lot of time to intermingle and stay stuck in your hair. Do not be alarmed. It's absolutely normal. And if you see a lot of breakage, small pieces, don't worry, that's normal, because the takedown process is going to be highly manipulative. You're undoing your hair that has not had any attention on it for the last 3 or 4 months. So just do not be alarmed. This is absolutely normal, okay? After you take them down, you want to do a good old brush out. And I mean brush your hair gently as much as you can with either a tangle teaser, the unbrush, or a Y2 comb. Those are the 3 I would recommend that are least likely to harm your hair. And just go to work before you put water on your scalp. Trust me, I did not do this. I thought I did, and I had more shed hair, and I almost lost a good chunk of my length when I went to go wash my hair. You can watch that video here too. And I panicked. Of course I prayed. I was praying a lot. I was even praying in the spirit because I did not want to lose that hair. And I did eventually get the tangle out, but that was a clump of shed hair that I missed during my brush out. So even if you want to just take an hour just to keep combing through that, it's good what you're doing. You're getting a lot of dirt and grime and sebum down from your scalp to down your hair. So it's totally fine. Just take your time, enjoy it, don't be rough, and you'll thank me for that. The next thing you want to do after you take them down is to do a protein treatment. Do a good one. Like, don't make your own at home. I love my DIY protein recipe, but I recommend getting the G 2-step and go to work with that, and follow the instructions and do a heavy protein treatment on your hair. And then follow up with a deep conditioner, a hydrating deep conditioner. Don't install mini braids right away. Again, give your hair at least a week of time off just to let it be itself, to flow. You can do a wash and go, you can do a braid out, a twist out, a bantu knot out. Just do something, do a style that allows your hair to just be loose and free for at least a week before going back into a mini braid regimen. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please leave a comment down below. And don't forget, if you love mini braids and you have your own little tips and tricks as well, be sure to leave it in the comments. As you know, we love to share our secrets here on the Coily Code. We don't gatekeep for our coily companions because we're all in our long hair era and we're all gonna get there together. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this is your first time visiting. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.